Good morning students. Today we are going to discuss about innate immunity. Innate immunity is considered to be as the first line of defense mechanism. Innate immunity has some other names. What are the other names of innate immunity? Native immunity or natural immunity. Why it is called as a natural or native immunity? Because this innate immunity is present in the organism's body by birth itself. Okay, so it is also called as natural immunity. It acts as a first line of defense mechanism. Means when any microorganism enters into the body, this innate immunity acts on that microorganism at first. Okay, so there are some factors which causes the innate immune responses. Means the innate immunity means some responses are produced by the attack of the microorganisms. So there are some factors which are actually causing the innate immune responses. So what are those factors? Those factors are general barriers, physical barriers, chemical barriers and biological barriers. These factors are divided into 4 categories. First we are going to see about general barriers. So general barriers, if we see, these are the barriers which generally causes the immune responses like nutrition, physiology, fever and some due to some genetic factors. So what is meant by these general barriers? These general barriers are actually shows the symptoms their immunity is going on. Okay, there the innate immunity is going on. So first we will see about nutrition. Mostly the lack of nutrients in the body condition, we call it as, such type of condition we will call it as malnutrition. So if the person is suffering from the malnutrition, he is more prone to the infections. Means there is a more chance of getting infections of to the person who is suffering from the malnutrition. And next, coming to the physiology, there is some acute infection may happen in the body which changes the concentration of the blood plasma. So it changes the physiology. Means the acute infection, if it happens by any other microorganism, it changes the concentration of the host blood plasma. Okay, then this may increase or decrease the virulence of the pathogen. Okay, next coming to the fever. Fever is also called as pyrexia. Fever is also called as pyrexia, and this develops as an indication of the body's immunity against microorganisms. The body temperature rises to kill the microorganism so that the person gets fever, and such condition we will call it as a pyrexia. There are some complementary pathways takes place during this process of increasing the body's temperature. Okay, next one is genetic factors. Because of the genetic factors also, there are some immune responses takes place. What is the genetic factors mostly influences? It influences the temperature of the organism, and it also influences the metabolism of the organism, and it also influences the food habits of the organism. Means by generations to generations, this differences in metabolism and host temperature and the food habits will be continued. For example, carnivores will be having different food habits and herbivores will be having different food habits. So these are the general barriers. Coming to the physical barriers. Physical barriers are the barriers which are the first thing when any microorganisms affects the organisms. This comes into play. So what are the physical barriers? Mostly skin and mucous membrane. Skin is the outermost layer of the organism's body. So due to the thickness of this skin layer, it acts as a barrier for causing immune response. So it is relatively dry when compared to the other organs of the body. and it will be showing some mild acidity. Here skin continuously sheds its dead cells which is present on the outer layer, which is known as squamous epithelial cells. Squamous epithelial cells will be continuously shedding down and the new cell formation will be done on the skin surface. So these squamous epithelial cells mostly take away the microorganisms which in touch with the skin, and it will be get rid out of the skin. Okay, coming to the skin, if you see, this skin will be slowing and inhibiting the microorganisms growth by shedding out the outer layer of the skin. Next, coming to the mucous membrane, if you see, the mucous membrane is mostly present on the lines of this respiratory, digestive and urinogenital system. Mostly we see this respiratory system mucus will be present, and in the digestive system on the lines of the digestive tract inside you can see this mucous membrane, and same in that way only urogenital system. This mucus which is present on the lines of these systems will be trapping the microorganisms and inhibits their action. So this mucous membrane, how it helps? It traps the microorganism and inhibits the action or growth of the microorganism. Example for this mucus is saliva, tears, stomach acids, mucus and respiratory tract. So these are the physical barriers. What are the physical barriers? Skin and the mucous membrane are the physical barriers which actually shows the innate immune response. Okay, coming to the chemical barriers, there are so many chemical barriers which actually shows the innate immunity or innate immune response. What are the chemical barriers? Interferons, fibronectin, hormones, beta-lysine and bacteriocins. How these are helpful in showing the immune response? We'll see now. Interferons are produced when any viral particle enters into the body. It acts as an antiviral substance. This is made up of, the interferons are made up of glycoprotein which is of low molecular weight. Interferons inhibits viral replication, thus it stops the growth of viral particles, so it acts as an antiviral compound. Okay, and next coming to the fibronectin. Fibronectins are said to be antibacterial. Why? Because these fights against bacteria. This is a glycoprotein which is of high molecular weight. So why it is called as an antibacterial compound? It blocks the bacterial attachment to the cell surface. Fibronectin will be blocking the bacterial attachment to the cell surface. So these acts as a first line of defense. Okay, interferons and fibronectin, all these barriers are the innate immune response factors. Okay, so this acts as a first line of defense mechanism. Next, coming to the hormones, the third one in the chemical barriers, increase in the decrease in the concentration of hormones, or the hormones if it is overproduced or less produced may affect the immune response, also shows immune response. Coming to the beta-lysine. Beta-lysine, what it will do? This is a compound which kills the gram-positive bacteria. Beta-lysine is a gram-positive bacterial killer. Okay. So coming to the bacteriocins. Bacteriocins, the name indicates it is a toxin produced by the bacteria. This is a toxin produced by the bacteria, and this toxin can kill the other bacteria. Means the species of one bacteria will be producing toxins, and that toxins will be killing the bacteria of other species. So this compounds we call it as a bacteriocins. So these are the chemical barriers when any other microorganisms like bacteria or virus enters into the body, immediately it shows its action. Okay. So coming to the biological barriers, which is of fourth one. Okay, the biological barriers are mostly considered in two systems. It shows its response in two ways. First one is mononuclear phagocyte system and second one is reticuloendothelial system. These both systems protects the organism from pathogens. The cells mainly macrophages and monocytes, and the organs like liver, spleen, lymph nodes and bone marrow will be helpful for these barriers, mostly involved in showing the immune responses. These are the cells and organs which shows the innate immune response, and this comes under the category that is biological barriers. It shows the immune response in two ways. Either it shows inflammation or phagocytosis. While it shows the inflammation reaction, it mainly affects the cell and vascular system. So here the changes are seen in cellular and vascular system. Inflammation means what? When pathogen enters into the body, it causes the tissue injury, and that shows like inflammation. Okay, so when inflammation is happened, the body indicates that some pathogen entered into the body. So it is ready to fight with that microorganism. So there are some steps to fight with the microorganism and destroying the pathogen. So here the steps you can see. At first, when the pathogen enters into the body, the blood flow increases. And it brings all the leukocytes and antimicrobial factors at the site of the inflammation. Okay. Then next, the dead cells at that place will be releasing antimicrobial factor. Antimicrobial factors will be produced by the dead cells over the place of where inflammation has been occurred, and after that you can see the rise in body temperature. Body temperature rises to kill the microorganism present at the site of the inflammation. Next, fibrin will be clotted. Next, phagocytes will be collected at the site of the inflammation to undergo the process of phagocytosis. Okay, so this is the steps are involved in destroying the pathogen. So if the inflammation occurs, what happens? The tissue injury may happen, but to prevent that, the body will be showing the innate immune response by undergoing these all steps. Next, in other way, we can also say it shows the immune response with the help of phagocytosis also. Phagocytosis, the term indicates cell eating. Okay, the phagocytosis engulf the cell into the one cell will be engulfing the other cell. So here what happens? Phagocytic cells, we call the cells which has the capacity to engulf the other cells, are called as phagocytic cells. Mostly the phagocytic cells are monocytes, macrophages and neutrophils. These are the three types of cells which can engulf or ingest the other types of these cells which are causing harm to the body, means which can take into it, which can take the cells which are harming to the body, it can engulf those cells. Okay, so the steps involved in this phagocytosis process. First, it recognizes the organisms with the help of receptors. The cells of the monocytes, macrophages and neutrophils will be having some receptor sites. That receptors will be recognizing the organisms, means foreign organism if enters into the body, these cells will be recognizing with the help of receptors. Later on, after recognition, it ingests the organism. It takes that organism inside it. After it engulfs it, what happens? The phagosome and lysosome combines to form phagolysosome. Okay, the lysosome and the phagosome. Phagosome is the substance which is engulfed or by the process of phagocytosis, it is ingested by the other organism. This phagosome which is entered into the cell and lysosome which is already present in the cell, both combines together to form phagolysosome. Here, after forming the phagolysosome, the enzymes destroys the phagosome. Means phagosome which is the foreign organism entered into the body. So the enzyme destructs those organisms. Next, what happens? After that, the cells are free from the foreign particles. So in the same way, like monocytes and macrophages, neutrophils produces toxins to kill the microorganisms after phagocytosis. Means actually monocytes and macrophages will be forming some enzymes which destructs the organism, but neutrophils will be producing some toxins to kill the organisms after phagocytosis. So these are the 4 types of barriers which are helpful in showing the innate immune response. Hope you understood. In the next class we are going to discuss about acquired immunity. Thank you.